Hello? Hello? Is it me you're looking for? Gonna hang around and hopefully some people will come. If you're here, drop some stuff in the chat. Hello! There's someone here. Oh, that's nice. Is that you, Dylan? Oh, no, actual fuckboy. Who could that be? That could be anyone. The opposite coast. Oh, okay, it's definitely Dylan. It's definitely Dylan. If he's calling me a dork, that's definitely Dylan. Dylan, you're here. You can be my my sound checking person. Can you hear my voice pretty well? Very good. Now, can you tell me if you hear this music? Do what I wanted to. I carry my heart in a pair. Cool. It sounds like music is happening. Great stuff. Great stuff. Awesome. Very good. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this. This is my dinner. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I had to teach a bunch of children. Wow, that tastes like victory. That tastes like really good victory. Hi, friends. So you're here to listen to some new music. As without music, there's no life. Boo to children indeed. Boo to children indeed. They did fine. Their dress rehearsal for their concert is next week. Their concert is on Saturday, December 11th. So I'm going to yo-yo from teaching children to playing kind of spicy music. Okay, so, welcome, I guess. I probably know most of you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me, eating burgers and playing music. So, how was filming Adoration? Adoration was very silly. Demi, who filmed it, is in this chat right now. Demi and I had a very good time. Demi works with a youth filmmaking company in town. Demi, I forget the exact name, but if you want to drop the name of your company in the chat, people can follow along. And very kindly brought over some camera equipment. And we had a very silly time setting up some lighting that I had available inside of my living room after clearing it. And then we took 10 minutes to awkwardly position a camera on top of my bathtub and point it downwards. And then I lay in the bathtub, but with my feet up like this, kind of like a roast chicken. And lip sync to a track. Shout out to the hot videographer. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. Demi also recommended to me the photographer at the portrait sessions, who's done all those beautiful pictures that I've been irritating people with for the last several weeks. That was a very fun time. Demi is MVP. And we did another video together not that long ago that is in the works, that'll be coming out soon. Man, I'm just very hungry. So anyway, this album, the track list is over there, over there, over there. It's over there, I think. And hello from Philadelphia. Thank you for listening. So the track list is over there. This is an album. It's self-titled one. It's coming out tomorrow. Technically, it's at midnight. I guess it'll be streamable, and on Bandcamp. We're gonna listen to the whole thing. I'll try to talk a little bit at appropriate times. There's certain moments that I think would be cool to discuss and just to get some insight on. And there's also, it's annoying because I purposely wrote a lot of transitions into this album very purposely, so it flows very well. It'll also be weird because it features a lot of spoken word, which will just be confusing because it's like me talking and then also me talking. It doesn't matter. Also, a bunch of people and friends of mine contributed some beautiful stories to record and be part of these transitions. The album is about, I advertised in my stupid video thing, stupid announcement. Album's about shame. Mostly internalized homophobia in the form of shame. It's I was really interested in exploring kind of a lot of my preconceptions about my own sexuality. I guess, for lack of a better word, here I am, a queer person. And the ways that I express it, the ways that I feel about other people expressing themselves, and whether I respond with like revulsion or with interest or intrigue. And the like goal of the album is to start from a place of a lot of internalized suppression, and a lot of just like deflecting and a lot of like distancing from one's feelings. And then when things start to get dark and you start to have to deal with things and reel with what you're going for, spoilers, Demi, I'm gay. When you actually start having to deal with that sort of stuff, you kind of have to ultimately make a choice of whether you accept yourself entirely or not. And the album ends in a pretty in an uplifting direction, in a good one. And I like it. I'll talk briefly about the album art because I took that picture myself. It is not my best one. And I was thinking, oh man, do I use one of these pictures that Christine, the portrait sessions, took instead of this one? Shout out to Sam Leek, who made the text, who painstakingly took a picture of some stuff of some text I wrote, and then painstakingly digitized it. I'm very, very grateful. And then I really wanted this one because it has the silver hair in it, and I wanted to tie the album in with silver a little bit for the larger subtop meta universe, in that it was a lot of this album is now about the kind of my next stage and journey after silver and what happened with that separation and what I had to confront after that. So I really wanted to have the silver hair in it. And then I had a really funny moment of my friend Troy came up to me. He's like, so what is this rope thing? Is there just something I don't get? The subtop EU. I love that, actually. I'm gonna annoy a lot of people with that. Somebody make a wiki about me. It'll be very small, but it'll be very beloved by at least 2 people. And one of those people is me. The other person is my other personality. And the rope thing is supposed to be, I kind of thought of it, it's taken from Twisted Monk, which is a kink resource that provides online videos and demonstrations on how to do rope, as well as just like from between meditative and actual sexual based kink rope play. And they're really cool, and I really, really like this design, but it gave me this sense of feeling trapped inside of my own head, like a feeling very, very suppressed. And I liked the act of when we were doing the adoration filming. I liked the act of willfully putting it on yourself and making the choice to just suck yourself in. I really thought it was funny. My friend Peter said it made me look like a macrame plant pot, which, fine enough. I'll take it. I will take it. Great. So now we know where we started. Let's get and listen to this album, shall we? We have our opening track, and I'll roll right through Hey It's Me into Docs. Can tell a funny story about Docs when it's done, about the drumming process. But yeah, we're going to get started. There's a strong possibility that my digestive tract will rebel against me, and suddenly I won't be able to stay on the screen anymore because I'm eating a McDonald's chocolate milkshake as a victory milkshake. But it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Okay. Let's open it up with a little story. And hey, it's me and Docs. Let's see how this sounds. And send messages in the chat for volume levels and let me know how it's going. Okay, here we go.
Hey, it's me. I know it's weird getting messages from me. I know it's weird getting messages from you. Yeah, so Happy New Year. That was a really messed up year, huh? Anyways, I just wanted to call and say hope you're doing okay. I know I'm doing kind of all right, actually. And I hope that you have some fun plans for tonight. Me, I'm just gonna walk about and see what happens. So yeah, hope you're well. Have fun, I guess. This is really weird. Sorry. Bye. Fuck.
Good vibes only. Climate change is doing me good. Summer showed up in advance. Fuck learning to be lonely. Plenty of bodies out there to be my somebody who doesn't dance. I don't wanna unpack my bruised knees. I'll think through it in therapy. I'm staring out windows wistfully like God's giving me an audition. Can't go on being so obsessed. Can't go off at my folks again. Can't go home, my room is a mess. Decisions, decisions, decisions. Barkeep is selling me life on the rocks. It's just me and the moon and a good pair of dogs. Wondering, 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 wondering when you're gonna be there. If you're gonna be there tonight. Up at every stop, beer barely spilling out of my crop top. I feel like I'm on leave from my pen. I lost my fucking friends again. I finally made it and the music sucks. Last drink was one drink way too much. Feel like I'm on leave from my pen. I'm never gonna see you again. You carry me smack to the middle of the bridge. I don't want to die, but I don't want to live. I keep it setting me life on the road. It's just me and the moon and a good pair of dogs. Wandering, 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 wandering when you're gonna be there. You're gonna be there tonight. What you up to? Trying to kill my Friday blues. I'm trying to fill my little shoes. What you up to? Yeah, yeah. everything is it keeps going. It keeps going.
I was craving a life raft, bisexual witchcraft, bedknobs and a broomstick, candles with a long wick, great nights with your best gaze, talking dragon anime.
Hi, Erica.
I don't wanna choose you, but I could really use you right now. Yeah.
Same as feelings to me. Naked in your bed, under the skin of your thumb, trying to get the upper hand by saying that all guys are dumb. And the sound of your footsteps behind me is so familiar, and this feeling I get is so familiar. And feelings, 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 feelings are the same as feeling to me.
I was craving a life raft, bisexual witchcraft, bedknobs and a broomstick, candles with a long wick.
Great nights with your best kids, talking dragon anime. I don't wanna choose you, but I could really use you right
Thank you for all your very kind words. Yeah, so that was 3 songs. I played 3 songs instead of 2. Thank you for admiring my saxophone burger. That's it's a tribute to Xander. Look at how they prefer to be credited. Wait, do I not have Xander on here? I'm a monster. Xander, no, I gotta credit you right. Xander Harris, I think is the last name that they like to go by. Xander is the saxophonist for Bisexual Witchcraft, as well as they play alto, and Krista Rice, they play the tenor sax, which is what showed up in the bridge of Bisexual Witchcraft. Bisexual Witchcraft was kind of a joke. I wrote that title down and was like, I don't know what this song is going to be about, but I'm going to make this about something. And then it was about going to a New Year's party and feeling oddly distanced from the person that I was there with. Docs, Dylan, you definitely should own a pair of Docs, though they are, in the long run, impractical for one's feet. Looking at this track list, I really appreciate my favorite read of this track list was my friend Todd, who's a DJ, looked at it and said, wow, your track list is a gay shopping list. I was like, cool, thanks. Great read. Very good read. Yeah, and Docs, a very funny story about that. So Demi is not only a prolific filmmaker, but also a prolific drummer. And we had a very good afternoon where she was kicking ass and just playing all sorts of complicated stuff. And then I was like, okay, cool. So for like 4 bars, I want you to do a drum roll on the tom. And then for the next 4 bars, I want you to do a drum roll on the snare. And let me tell you, those 8 bars in total took a whole afternoon. It took trying it, then both of us screaming in frustration, going out and getting air, and then coming back and then trying it again. It was very funny. It was a very funny time. Let's see, in shorter roll docks, jockstraps, and shoes till not over those. Oh, thank you. Yes, there's a lot of yeah, Demi killed it on so many days of drumming. And for some reason, those 8 bars where I was just like, yeah, just do this, fell to pieces. It was so funny. It was so funny. This whole album just... Most of my life is made around bullying Demi, I'll be honest. I love her so much that I just have to bully her in all forms of my existence. That's just the way we go. That's the way we do. Yeah, you had to take out all the backing track, and we just had to use a metronome. So you just metronomed your way. It was so funny. Friends, it was so funny. It was so funny. Oh, it was such a long day. Such a long day. She earned every single dollar that she paid for. It was you. It was you. You told me to do it. After an hour. It was very funny. It was a very funny time. Okay. I'm gonna play. Well, I feel like I'm really gunning for Demi right now. Anyways, I'm gonna play the single, quote unquote, which features the opening text. Bible Belt is a mix of some text by friends of mine. Because I don't have their official permission, I'll just keep them anonymous at the moment. There's 2 friends of mine commenting about stories that I reached out to the... I will not become famous. Thank you. I do not wish to become famous. I reached out into my random database of friends to get some queer stories, but one being like, hey, what was the time that you really liked being queer? And what was the time that you really hated being queer? And I got a really beautiful mix of some really honest stories that some people just really laid it out for me. I was blown away with how willing people were to be vulnerable. And I had to check everyone's permission as I was putting things in, be like, hey, this is where this shows up. Is this okay? Is this framing all right? And everyone, thankfully, was very kind and very chill with what I chose to do. So Bible Belt is two different stories. One about a person who grew up in rural Texas. And the end of that story is supposed to be they grew up in a rural town of crazy Bible Belt, Texas, and then went to their first Pride Parade at the end of that, which is really, really nice. But the immediate story after that is another friend of mine who was excommunicated from their church. They are a great, cool advocate for people support and getting out of religious trauma. Anyway, it was a whole lot. But anyway, here's Bible Belt, which leads into Adoration. You all know that one. Then I'll play Half Hour after that one. I think Half Hour is one of my favorite songs I've ever written, if not the favorite song I've ever written. Mostly because it's very satisfying to me lyrically. Anyway, let's get into it.
I live in a small town in Texas. Yes, Texas. Shocking. In my small town, I always thought there was maybe a little bit of queer people in my town. I always thought there's none because we're, a red state and a Bible Belt state.
I received a letter from a church that I had worked for calling me to stand trial for my sexual sins.
Shout out to Jade Weeks who plays bass on this.
Got me in a knot that I'm unwilling to untie.
this is how I remember it.
The weird angles and plush cushions of the couch. We know so many of the same friends. Text from your roommate, he's been cool since you and your boyfriend opened up. And I tell myself I'm just shy of where that trust might end. The smell of baby wipes, sloppy kisses, glass of water, no shower, no time. Half hour tops, half hour in and out, half hour tops, half hour in and out, half hour tops, half hour in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, half hour in and out, in and out, in and out. The inevitable skip inside my stomach when someone introduces you to me. You know that I'm not interested in this pleasant social gathering. By the number of times I say I have to pee, we've run out of words. 15 minutes outside your house. I don't wanna be here long for the second time. Maybe half hour tops, half hour in and out, half hour tops, half hour in and out, half hour tops, half hour in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out, half hour in and out, in and out, in and out, half hour in and out, in and out, in and out.
Yeah. I appreciated that my partner Dan, when he first heard that one, he was like, it's like vulgar but also clever but also vulgar. I love it so much. That bass was James Barth. Just he played that thing over and over and over and over again. And he got it perfect. He did so well. Backup vocals. I was like, I want to sing with my friend Anwar. So Anwar, I've known since I was 12 when we were in boys' choirs together. And I've watched him flourish and grow into a beautiful person that he is. And just like very vocally queer and very, very vocally pro sex work. He's very cool. And I was like, hey, do you want to come pun with me in this song? And he was like, yeah, sure. He did it in like a couple takes. He did a really, really great job. He sang beautifully. Yeah, it was a really great time. I felt like I had some fun stories about that one. I don't remember what I was doing. And it doesn't matter. Let's see. What else we got? Oh, and a shout out to Ayoro Yoko, who is an amazing blues guitarist and just makes the most beautiful like stringy vocals that I just love so much. They're really cool. And they did guitars on Bisexual Witchcraft. I forgot to credit them. They also have an amazing solo coming up in the future. Speaking of amazing solos, so the next one is a heel turn in genre, because that's how we do it here at Subtop Industries. And it features Ian Fieldes. Fieldes? I've never actually known how to pronounce Ian's last name. I've always just seen it in just been like, Ian, you're really cute. Play the guitar. Yeah. Never really known how to pronounce his last name, though. He plays an amazing solo on this one. Opens with a little story, followed by some great guitar playing from Ian. And then after that is SD, which is probably one of the songs I'm the most nervous about, in that it's like a Magnetic Fields poppy song about a relationship with an older man who lives in Seattle. I didn't know how people would feel about that one. Maybe they'll like it, maybe they won't. But I hope you like it. I think it's one. I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think it's one of the best sounding songs I've ever made, actually. And it features a lot of synth work, which was very fun to do. And more demi drums. Okay, but first, before that, let's pop into Shorter Rolls. Let's see what we got here. What have we got here, baby? Yeah. Here, let's have some chill time.
And so when I went into that barbershop, it was a gender-neutral barbershop. I said, I want you to cut my hair like Leo in Titanic, and she did. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and I finally recognized myself for the first time in, I think, my entire life. I was 27, just turned 27.
AV cable busted, lights running yellow and red. Highway night red to the backside of my head. Hop online to find a guide, cause I like to be led. Been on getting out of shape, but I'll get cute instead. Baby's cool as ice, he's a regular Lord of Bones, and I breached that wall without spoiling Game of Thrones. Last season got rotten real fast, summer went on too long. No houses racking shit, but plenty of stones bite-sized. That bit of banter was well improvised. I cut too quickly, we should cut a rise. Don't take me serious in my shorter alls. Man, baby, realness in my shorter alls. Can't get my feelings in my shorter alls. The next lines were never gonna die.
First time I actually recognized myself and felt comfortable in my own skin. Because after I got my hair cut, then the wardrobe came. And then once my wardrobe changed, my attitude changed, my confidence level changed. And I think in that moment when I cut my hair off, I actually finally loved myself for the first time in my entire life, I think.
Jackie's got a new stick, but his footwork ain't subtle. And Texas got my pixie, wants to come over for cuddles. Wanna just dance, prove that you're alive. Gotta show the gaggles you've got drive. Sung too many love songs now, I need a new belt. Cause I'm introverted, no strength gained by myself. Queen up in his castle, can afford to spread the wealth. Feels sickening sometimes, it's good for your health. Bite-sized, that bit of banter was well improvised. I got too quickly, we should cut a rise. Don't take me serious in my shorter alls. Man, baby, realness in my shorter alls. Can't get my feelings in my shorter alls. Who says we're ever gonna die?
I wrote the first half of that one back in like 2017, then left it alone, and then it was 2019 that I finished it.
Why is my child learning about sex?
I've got a suitcase full of dark clouds and some dirty clothes, some spare income if I need it, and a charger, I suppose. I didn't really see you last time I was here. Now I'm back a lost and lonely queer, and you've got the time to make me disappear, and I need you to. I really need you to.
shed. We might kiss under a bridge, but it doesn't mean I wanna end up in bed. Doesn't mean I wanna end up in bed. Doesn't mean I wanna end up in bed with you. I've loaded off my old feelings, punch a hole in my shell. That doesn't stop the sense of drowning, 'cause being social is hell. But I'm gonna make an effort to make memories with someone I don't think is a casualty. But get me out quick when I say please, 'cause I'll need you to. I really need you to. Show me around Seattle, Daddy. I've got new friends to find. We might kiss under a bridge, but it doesn't mean that love is on my mind. It doesn't mean that love is on my mind. It doesn't mean that love is on my mind.
But I don't know how to drive. Can barely keep myself alive.
But I can show you my okay side. You can show me when you're sad. And we can laugh at all our servers who assume you're my dad. Show me around Seattle, Daddy. I have such fun with you. We might kiss under a bridge, but it doesn't change the way that I feel about you. The complicated way that I feel about you. The wonderful way I feel about you tonight.
Sure. Erica, I will take over as choreographer. I am prepared to teach children how to pony, how to sugar, how to pot a bourrée. I can do all that stuff. Anyways, thanks for liking that song. I really, really like that song. I think it's cute. I was really interested in approaching a bunch of subjects because, like, I was like, cool, I want to make a queer album. I'm going to, like, talk about some shit that, like, I want to try and see if I can approach subjects that a lot of queer albums and, like, methods have explored before, but see if I can frame it differently. Like, relationships with older people, especially in the queer community, are so common, and yet we view them with such, I don't know, either fetishism, where we kind of treat them as like, isn't it cute that you're, like, making a bunch of money off this old man, or as predatory. And I think while both of those definitely exist, and the capacity for predatory behavior is, like, much more of a risk when it comes to, like, different power dynamics because of age, I also think there's, like, a lot of value and beauty to be found from those kinds of relationships. I won't go too long on that. Anyways, I like SD. I think it's cute. I called it SD as opposed to calling it just straight up Seattle Daddy to be more inviting to listeners. And then people listen and be like, oh, it's about, oh, that's what that stands for. Yeah. And shorter rolls has existed for a while. I like the image of shorter rolls because they're, like, playful and cute and sweet and innocent. But they also, like, protect you. Like, your chest is covered and you're still defending your emotions to a certain extent whilst wearing them. Imagery. Whoa, blah, 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 blah. That's why they ended up so early on. It was like a song I was wondering what it was about. And I was like, oh, this is about, like, kind of liking yourself and, like, being into yourself and kind of celebrating being by yourself, but still feeling that comes from a place of self-defense as opposed to a place of expressiveness. Anyway, that's those two songs. Next we got Hickey, which is the spiciest song I've ever written. I made some choices, and I'm proud of them, and I'm going to stick with them. Love them lots. This features Aeroyoko on guitar, killing it, as well as James Barth on bass and Demi on drums. It was really fun to record the vocals of, but it's spicy. I don't know if my mom and dad are watching this one, but I guess like, welcome. I hope you enjoyed this one. And Hickey's about having sex with a vampire. Blah.
My breath stinks of garlic. I'm doing genuflections, making smooth but sure deflections of your eyes. I'm fresh out of party tricks. Guess I can get you off, then creep out of your crooked coffin back to mine. But when I ask how you felt about the temperature we made in the room, you just shut up the window. It's nothing but the sun at noon. Something feels right. I made assumptions big time. There's such a thing as not like the other guys. We've got hours before sunrise. Yeah, we've got hours before sunrise. My neck feels a pinch. I feel my chest get tighter as your fingers stretch me wider like a drum. But we're good in a cinch. Turns out that I'm the asshole, thinking feelings were a hassle if you come. But when you ask how I felt about taking it one night at a time, I slipped your cock out from between my tonsils, smiled and said, that's fine, 'cause something feels right. I made assumptions big time. There's such a thing as not like the other guys. We've got hours before sunrise. Yeah, we've got hours before sunrise. 'Cause you just straight up left me dead with nothing but the cards and demons in my head. Could've had you and for me instead. I'm a faggot you don't wanna fuck with. Something feels right. I made assumptions big time. There's such a thing as not like the other guys. We've got hours before sunrise. Yeah, we've got hours before sunrise.
Ayo Yoroko did such a good job at that solo. I was so proud of them. They just killed it. I had to tell everybody that I just got a text message from my mother. Which might be her, it might be my father texting through her. Sex with vampires? Anyways, love you, Mom. I should also clarify, I guess, most of these songs are based on fiction. They're like partial truths of some stories that I've experienced, and but all of them are elaborated on and lots of different things. Sex with vampires is a good lead into the next song. So the next one is called A Phone Call from My Mother. I've never received this phone call from my mother that I'm about to narrate about. Nor have I called my mother in the same way. Not quite a phone call, but close. No one has ever sexualized vampires before. They're notoriously chaste creatures in terms of depiction. So here we go. We've tipped over. We had the spicy song. And all of it is like, again, like a lot of that song is also about like making assumptions about someone you're hooking up with, being kind of like, oh, like I'm going to be like emotionally distant and like whatever. And then the other person's like, no, we're cool. You can just be here. And then hi. You can just be here. You can just be present. You can just enjoy this. And it'd be like, oh, I guess. And then this kind of starts a spiral into rethinking everything. And it starts with something which is like your relationship with your parents. As like a queer person, your relationship with your parents is really strange. Sometimes it's like it can be very positive no matter what, but there's just certain things that one parent can't, unless you happen to be the child of queer parents, there's things like you can't really learn from them, and your world feels like foreign to them. So you have this weird distance between each other that I think to a certain degree exists between all parents and children, but it's especially potent with them. That's to say, I feel like I need to defend my mother here and say that I have a loving mother who is very supportive, is watching the stream right now, despite the spicy content, and I love her very much for it. She and my father have always been like really cool with me being in music, and I have a lot of value from them. So anyway, this song is about a more strained relationship with a parent. And it features, I have to say, the person whose voice opens this, I have to say, because they in particular have mentioned to me that they are self-conscious about their voice. And I have to say, I played this album for a friend of mine, and their immediate response when they heard this opening bit was, wow, this person has a really great voice. So I just had to tell that over the stream, so it's on camera, that this person knows. And I can reference this back to them later, where they can be like, oh, okay, someone actually liked what my voice sounded like. Just because I feel like everyone needs to hear that they sound nice on occasion. Sometimes it's really nice to have that. Anyway, this song is called Phone Call from My Mattress. And we'll pause after that one, then I'll give you the lowdown on the next three. We'll do 3 in a row because it sets the mood right. This one features also another great saxophone solo by Xander.
I don't know how to be bold. I don't know how to be extravagant. I don't know how to shine anymore. I think the threshold of acceptance for them is we'll be okay as long as you be quiet about it.
First things first, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I try to keep my brain in place, but it keeps rolling out. Have to have space, then my morning brew. Guess every day I am more like you. I'm always pretending I know how I got this far. Get out of bed, leave the house, slowly learn to play guitar. But it's throwing ice cubes in hot boiling water. It cools for a breath and then I'm breathing harder, but I won't give reasons why. Didn't reach out last weekend. Don't wanna seem like a dead end. I don't swear on a Bible, I swear on things you said. Keep the peace, keep it down, share your load, share your bread. But these things I'm doing, use your name in vain. It's hard feeling healthy when it sounds more like shame. It's not that I'm ungrateful, it's just my face, you see. Sorry, I'm short for cash, could you pay for my therapy? Been up and down on a road I don't know, and the wheels you provided seem ready to blow. But I won't give reasons why. I won't take your prayer, and I don't wanna share. it's ringing true, ringing true. Say something, say something. I know there's words in you. I know you're fully stocked with ammunition. I don't need reasons why. I know you're there. Yes, I know you're there. And I don't need a reply. Just want you to know
Having to choose between
you're loved
family, loved ones, and myself is very difficult. And thankfully, I chose myself.
It's another really generous story by a friend of mine. Yeah, I really like that one. I was really proud of the vocal performance. Funny story about the bridge and the hilarious reference to, I forget who it is that the collaborates with Christina Aguilera. The "Say Something, I'm Giving Up on You," just like such an earnest, sentimental piano ballad. When I was writing this bridge, I was like sitting there with lyrics, being like, I gotta do something with this. I gotta do something. And I was like, say something. Shit, that's already a song. And I was like, wait a minute. How do you feel about that song? I really hate that song, but sure, we'll put that in the song. So that's how that got together. Okay. And so now we continue our downward trend emotionally into self-reflection and kind of like really spiraling through shame, like a shame spiral. Somebody should make an album called that or something. The next two are kind of paired songs. So I guess like content warning for people who are watching this and are wanting to not be exposed to this kind of thing. So Mattress is about, it's a fictional story based partially on some of my own experiences and feelings, and then the stories that people have very kindly shared with me about sexual assault. And something that's really frustrating if you are like any kind of like a sexual person or even like a kinky person, you end up having these moments where, especially if you're a survivor of sexual assault, you start to overthink your interests and like where things come from, and you start to get a negative relationship with your sexual expression. You don't know what to do with it. And there's a lot of cliches about how the kinky people especially are all broken people. And like there's like all this like Freudian analysis about like this bad relationship or this bad experience is what causes you to have this kind of interest. And I think it's all a little bit of nonsense. Some of it's true. I would like to be overly charitable to them. Some of it is true, but I think I really wanted to have a conversation with myself like, okay, how do you recover from a sexual assault where you re-engage with yourself as a sexual being? How do you rethink that? How do you reestablish that? So Mattress is a story in two parts. The first part is the experience of like being assaulted and having this really negative, terrible, awful time. And it's all distance. It all refers to the perpetrator in the third person and this distancing away. And it kind of ends in this almost like kind of cliche sounding, very 2000s emo phrase of damaged but good. And then there's a second half, and the second half is a recontextualizing of it. And then at the very end of the song, the riff just slightly changes. The main riff that you hear repeating throughout the whole thing slightly changes in order to see that your relationship to this idea is shifted and changed around and becomes something new. It's one of my clever moments. Anyways, this story opens with a story that someone shared with me very generously. And I realized that as I was putting these stories in here, I could very easily end up just exploiting people for their grief and having their identity or their personhood crystallize exclusively as a character of trauma inside of this album. And so I really worked hard to then reshape that and make sure that it wasn't just, here's the awful time that you were queer,
in the album, I also need to find a way to incorporate the other half of it somehow. Even if it's just a fleeting moment, I would feel awful if it was just the negative. So we have Mattress, which opens with a story, and then the same person's positive story is over this little interlude called 19 Off the Bus from Kamloops, which is actually the name for the original demo for Mattress that I made way beforehand. And so that includes their positive story, so I could like change who they are in terms of the narrative of this album. And then afterwards is a really generous poem by a friend of mine who submitted it. It was really, really kind. And it just makes it like a little cohesive whole, and then ends it in that way. Then right after that is Looking for Light in a Dark Room, which is where most of the stories and everything all comes together. It's a little cliche of a title. I was really worried about it. I was like, man, other gay people are going to see this. Shame. Other gay people are going to see this and be like, are you serious? You're talking about dark rooms in this sentimental way? And I'm like, okay, just think about the like 20 straight people that will hear this and have no idea what I'm talking about, and they'll think I'm just talking about like a photography darkroom and not, gay people dark rooms. But it was like that song came together. It's people know me from my wordy songs. That probably is the song with the fewest words, other than maybe Wash, that I've ever written. And it's very, very small, and it's just a really simple idea of the sentiment of wanting to be part of something, but then feeling like you don't deserve to be part of it. Anyway, I'm gonna play all 3 tracks, and then we'll get into the latter half. So you would start with Mattress.
It was a really bizarre moment in my life because I was experiencing adulthood for the first time, but I was also experiencing sexuality and vulnerability for the first time as well. It was such a bizarre, hurtful experience that I just withdrew and didn't even try to engage in my own sexuality for 2 to 3 more years.
There's him, there's a mattress, there's his dick stuck out in the middle of the air like a swollen middle finger.
A time or experience that made me love being queer was the first time I held a guy's hand in public. It was one of those weirdly magical moments where you haven't experienced it before, but once you experience it, you know that it's correct. Like, you know, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I love, and I never want to stop doing this.
Drifting into sleep, holding him close to me, feeling so protected and content. Staying in bed a bit into the afternoon. I think it was starting to snow outside, like we were waiting out a storm, peering out the bottom edge of the window into the city street below, busy with the din of day-to-day life. But for once, mine didn't feel like being trapped in that routine loop.
Pity them, I want them. I pity them, I want them. And they deserve to be touched. Do I deserve to be touched? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Looking for light in a dark room. Looking for light in a dark room.
Realizing that I was actually attracted to this thing that made myself the poster, this thing that made me hate myself. But when I saw another queer people, I was like, oh my god, you divine creature, you beautiful thing.
This is my home. This is a foreign land.
I remember, like, when the slap looked for it.
This is my home. This is a foreign land. And they deserve to be tied.
All of the habits connected between us.
I deserve to be tied.
And just last thing, and just remember both of us forcing it.
Yes, they deserve to be touched. Do I deserve to be touched? What am I doing here?
Make sure you tell that real back into
What am I doing here?
again, I think it's still important to talk about, but I just realized I could be instead of talking myself into being. And that felt really good.
I just really, really like that line. I just really, really like that line. My friend gave that to me. It was just really beautiful. Just really, really, really beautiful work. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for listening to that. Thanks for all your responses. It's really, really nice to hear in live while you're listening to it. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, it's very underwater. It's very like just kind of like in the trenches. And someone said it just reminded them of their last experience of 560. That's kind of like, I've always envisioned it as like, it feels to me like that moment when you're at a very loud party and you kind of just like escape out of yourself and you like are like witnessing this like din and like collision of bodies and of people and of experiences and joy, but feeling just like you're like lifted out of it. You can't quite land in it. And it's that's kind of like the sentiment of like, I remember writing it. I was walking down the street, like just feverishly tapping the words into my phone. And I was just like, I don't know what to think about this. And like the sentiment of just like, I pity them, I want them, was like very, very real. And then just like the sentiment of like, what am I doing here? Like, why? Am I here to be part of this? Am I here to judge people? Like, why? I need to actually ask myself why I'm here. And the eventual conclusion is, yes, I'm here because I want to be part of this. I want to experience this. I want to have agency. I want to have presence. And I really, really like the sentiment, the closing sentiment of just like, I can just be as opposed to talking to myself into being. And a clever note for all you people watching the stream now is that from this point on, pretty much until like almost the very end of the album, there is no more spoken word, except for like a small little moment at the very tail end. There's no more spoken word. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly it. That's the last story I want to have, is just that I can just be supposed to talk myself into being. Okay, well, let's take a radical shift upwards, because I said this album ends on a positive note. So right after this, we have a song called Dude, which is the only thing I could call a pop punk song. It's about the weirdness of hypermasculinity in gay sex. Like, it's weird. I find it weird when someone's just like, yeah, dude, you want to make out? And I'm like, for some people, I think that's like really a turn on. They like the subversion and like the weird inclusion of that. And I'm not here to yuck anyone's yum, but for me, it always just feels so weird to like be really intimate with someone and they just go like, bro, yeah, you're so hot. I'm like, this is, don't look at that. So then there's that. Then afterwards is the silliest thing, which is a song called Jockstrap that is about making thirst traps for yourself. The weirdest feeling, which is like, I want to look good for me. And it's hard to explain because the logic brain, you just like follow it down and be like, but it's for other people to look at, but also you want to look at yourself, but also you just want to have this self, like a good cycle of positivity. Anyway, that's what that song about. And also it's a single that's going to come out eventually one day. Eventually. There'll be a music video for it with a green screen. It's cute. And then afterwards is a song called In Shoes, which I wrote at the very last minute because I got to the very end of the song. Oh, wait, Con, I think you're on here. I have to tell you, there's a line in the song Jockstrap that's about playing guitar in your jockstrap, and that is just directly inspired by you. This is not a pressure thing, but I just want to say that that is directly inspired by your Instagram power. I figure you should know that. And then we end with In Shoes, which is just a last minute addition because like I was like, this album is over really quickly. I should fill this up, and I want to make a tag about something. And the song ends in just like a really cool, fun time. And just an affirmation of just really loving who you are. And then you have a dance party. And then there's Adieu, which is just a classical, it's meant to be kind of like the framework is, it's two people at a bar
and the other, you're just so sick of the other person for just like, they've just been talking and talking and talking and just going on and on and on. You just like, and you're just talking in circles and just shit talking everyone. You're like, I don't want to be here anymore. I need to leave this. I'm tired of how much you just like define yourself by your negativity and by what you are opposed and what you are against. And I just want to step away from that. So I thought it would be a nice little ending to just end with that and say like, yo, bye that part of me, I guess. Metaphors? Sure, metaphors. Anyway, so here's the fun stuff. This is Dude. Don't call me dude. It scrapes like gravel. I'm not your buddy. You sneak peeks at in the locker room. I can't aim myself like that anymore. I've been here before. The moldy shower curtain stinks like summer, and this damp towel won't cut it. Cigarette ash conquers your bedroom floor. You say it's just friendly. You say you can't stand the idea of being viewed as some fragile flower. Well, whose garden have you just been plucking? Whose thumb have you been sucking to soothe a sore? Shred Solo 1 by James Barton. And I came in here as myself, and I'm walking out as myself. And I came in here as myself, and I'm walking out as myself. Every day this week you send me a snap as I'm playing my guitar and my jockstrap. I don't wear it to get you up, I wear it to keep me from falling down. I tell myself when it itches or clings, try to find the big joy in the little things. But when you put my pleasure on a stage, it just turns me into a clown. I don't have the face for radio, and I don't have the space for a cameo. I don't have the patience to be kind of a if you're a reminder. I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. No, I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. And that includes you. I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. No, I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. I know every note of this song is vain. I was born without a reason to complain. But everyone's allowed to pick what sticks, and this one stuck in my lungs. I like to think everyone's truly good. I like to listen to the songs from my childhood. But even with your right hand on the book, I can see that the jury's hung. I get to ask, you get to say no. You didn't make a wish, I don't have to blow. You don't get a little more giving a look. I don't have to share my goddamn cookies. I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. No, I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. And that includes you. I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. No, I don't have to do what I don't wanna do. This week you send me a snap as I'm playing my guitar and my jockstrap. I don't wear it to get you up, I wear it to keep me from falling down.
'cause I love you, 'cause I want you to. We should unpack this, put the brakes on fast, ask the right questions. But we should get going before I stop breathing.
This is great. I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Take 76.
If I have to spend one more minute with you, complaining how no one here's good enough, I'm walking right out this bar and leaving you the bill and the 4 years of whining. Your loneliness is projecting like a bad movie onto a stained screen, and that makes you mad, 'cause you can't see the picture quite clearly enough. But if you're gonna spend the next 2 hours reminding me that I'm garbage, well, you can save it. I already know. There's sediment grinding the bottom of my belly each time that you cry out, none of these boys'll do, I need a man. Like you know what that means. The patterns of how we've been acting, what we've been saying, are smothering me, and I can't just unsee them.
as easier as it was. You don't hold on to a rotten finger just 'cause your wedding ring's on it. So auf Wiedersehen, adieu. I'll see you with these other gays in hell. Yeah, I think that's it.
That's it. That's the end of the album. That's it. I didn't really. Thank you. Thanks for coming, Con. That's it. That's the end of the album. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to buy it, it'll probably be available at midnight / will be available tomorrow. Tomorrow's a great day to buy it because tomorrow is Bandcamp Friday, and they are very kindly waiving their fee. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for piling onto my nonsense. I really appreciate all the words. And it will be available on the things. It's really, really nice. Thank you for this lovely evening with me. Thank you. I'm very proud of it. I work very hard, but it feels really, really nice to hear responses and for everyone to say things. I love you all so much. Thanks for listening. I hope you stay safe and have a great, easy night and enjoy the rest of your evening. And I will hopefully see you all very soon. Love you very much. Oh, wait. I have to do important things that I missed. I didn't credit Kat McCluskey on bass at Bisexual Witchcraft. I need to get that in there because she killed it. And I also need to thank Brock McFarlane at CPS Mastering, who did the mastering of the album, and Matt MacArthur for his expertise on mixing. So everyone, go to bed. Think about those last people that I mentioned, as well as the other people on this stream and how they're all great and you're all great. And yeah. Okay, I love you all so much. Sleep tight.